Hi, I'm Dolapo.
And I'm Tachanda.
And we are talking about things no one told us as interior designers. No, about being interior designers.
What do you think when people look at what we do? They think that it's super easy, but we've spoken about and it's quite difficult.
I think designing is actually not as easy as it looks. Yeah. The initial design stage, because it takes a couple of cycles to get to like the design that people see. And it's not that you just, wake up with like an idea. You really do have to gather your research. You need to have sources of really good information or research in the first place. So the design doesn't just come to you, if we're being honest. We have that skill and that creativity to bring it together in the end, but that initial part, pulling it out, can be a bit difficult.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you, because you're seeing something in your head, but it's like, how do you visualize it? And a lot of people think like, oh, it's so simple, you can just go on Pinterest and stuff like that. But it's like, you obviously finding inspiration and then putting that inspiration into a visual is quite a lot. And so where do you draw your inspiration kind of from?
So I feel like we both like to travel. And I feel like we've said that when we travel, I think that's when we get like a lot of like really good inspiration. So I would say definitely traveling or just being out and about. Like try not to stay in the same setting like
all the time.
Adding variety to my surroundings. I think that's where I get my inspiration from.
I definitely would agree. When you get like a design burnout, literally, we've said this many times, like, let's book a flight. Let's book a flight or a staycation or let's go to a space that kind of like just inspires us. There's so much like, I guess, burst of energy that comes with that, being in a different environment or like just, getting your creative juices flowing again.
So I don't think people know how much time we don't spend designing. Like there's just so much other things that we're doing. I think being an interior designer has a lot of hats. You wear a lot of hats as a designer.
Let alone being a business owner in a small company. There's so much stuff. A lot of the job is admin. Dealing with inquiries, speaking to multiple specialists, to the different trades, the technicalities, understanding, is this possible? Speaking to what the design is versus building control, versus building control regulations, versus what was put in the planning. And also then, especially even when it comes to like commercial property, understanding what that particular business's lease allows them and does not allow them to do. There's so much like technicalities as part of a design process, but as well as outside of that design process. Talking more about like our design processes as well. I feel like one thing that is consistently misunderstood by clients in general is how quick a turnaround a design can be. And it is something that's really misunderstood because there's a lot of moving parts, isn't there?
I feel like it's not realistic to have a design, whether it's a living room. Like there are definitely some rooms that you can turn around very quickly. But I guess from our personal experience, the clients that we've had so far, they're usually doing a couple of rooms, or if it's a commercial space, it's quite a lot of square footage that we're covering. And I think this goes back to the question that we were answering about how easy it is to just come up with designs and how long that process can be. So the good thing is like we do our research and we have like our sources of inspiration so that we're ready to get stuck in with a project. But it's allowing that time for the client to also give their feedback and have that back and forth, because it's not just about us just giving you something and expecting you to just take it and run with it. Like we are very aware that people will have their comments and the first design might not be accepted sometimes. So it's like, we need to leave room for that to take place. And that requires flexibility from us and for the client as well. The timeframes we give, it's just a guide.
It is a guideline.
Even we are sometimes working a little bit more than what we've allowed for, because we're we're aware of that process. I think that's one thing that's a bit misunderstood, but they're usually happy in the end, so they get it. When it's all done, it's like, okay, we see why it took that time to get to this point.
Yeah, we've been quite fortunate, haven't we, that our clients have been really like happy with the design. They might not understand how long the design process takes.
Yeah.
So if you tell them like, oh, it might be 6 to 8 weeks at the very minimum, depending on the complexity of a project. And that just being a guideline, to be fair. Sometimes they just don't understand that.
And a lot of times that rush could be coming from the builder.
Yeah.
Because they probably, they have a builder lined up, they're ready to go. And then it's like...
Or they've started.
Yeah. And time is running out, money is being spent, they need to do this quick. Yeah. So
but
I think can be a bit...
And I think that's why, like, obviously this conversation's even important, isn't it? Because if you're moving into a new property, or if you already live there and okay, in the next 6 months, in the next year, you want to start refurbishing, or when you are, starting to look for a commercial property, those are the times that you want to engage us, so that design process is not rushed. Yeah. And also, a lot of the times, our clients, we can source like bespoke items, for example. And if you give us like 2 months, if you give us 3 months, we can't do that.
We won't be able to do that.
We can't do that because we also have to like line up, where we're sourcing it from and what types of fabric. And it just doesn't allow like a really thought out process. So the longer you're thinking about it is like the perfect time to,
just get in contact.
And,
the best process is when the architect and interior design actually collaborate on that design. So we definitely recommend it. What surprises me is that we've been working on this for how many years and we're not rich.
Be serious?
I am. Anyway, that's my answer.
I think for me, what surprises is like how much not every moment is obviously not filled with creativity. Like there's a lot of admin and there's a lot of things in the background. Yeah. So it doesn't obviously surprise me now because we've done it, but like in the past, it was just like, wow, so many processes, and it's very good to have processes.
Yeah, I think the good surprise is that we just started with this idea of wanting to be designers and just design people's homes initially, which is then turned into commercial spaces. And in that same way, I feel like more and more doors just been open for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I can already see in the future other things that can come out of just starting as interior designers. Yeah. So I think that's a good surprise. I don't think we thought about all of that initially. Yeah. And now we have so many ideas that we can't wait to like get, started with or complete on. And I think that's the nice surprise, that you just keep going and there's just more that you can do.
So for me, I really enjoy traveling. And so the fact that I get to travel and then also do interior and do them both together. Yeah. So I really, that was a really good surprise.
Like perfect combination.
Perfect combination. And then also, I don't think I ever imagined, I think you alluded to this as well, I didn't imagine like I would be designing furniture, for example. Yeah. Because when we started, we would always, create a shopping list from other retailers. Yeah. But to be able to actually pick fabric, pick a design of a chair, that's an amazing...
It just adds to the creativity.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop, basically.
Yeah.